Hello and welcome to a little nighttime book haul. So I was traveling recently throughout a couple states, and one thing I love to do when traveling is find little used bookstores to stop by. So I got some books, and this is probably the biggest book haul that I've had in years. I just went to so many used bookstores and I got so lucky, I feel, because I feel that every book, well, almost every book that I have been wanting to read, I found, and I can't believe it. So many of these books I am so excited to read, and I'm so happy that I found them. And I'm happy that I found them all used, of course, at great prices. So I hope that you enjoy me showing you just everything that I got, why I got the books, where I got the books, and I hope you enjoy the little nighttime setting that I'm doing it in. So let's get started. The first book I'm going to show you, I could not believe that I found this and that I got it for the price that I did. And that is Gone with the Wind by Margaret Mitchell. I've never read Gone with the Wind, but I've always been really curious. I don't actually really know what it's about. I know that it takes place in the South during the Civil War. That's literally all I know. It's just a big book, and I don't know. For me, anytime I hear a book is big, I'm just automatically interested. I don't even have to know what it's about. I've seen this edition at Barnes & Noble's, and I've always been like, whenever I read Gone with the Wind, I want that edition to read it in. And I found this at a used bookstore, and I got it for $1.25. I was so happy. And it's like brand new. Like I don't even think it's ever been read before. I mean, look at that. It's so great. I mean, it's so beautiful. But every time I'd see this at Barnes & Noble, I'd be like, man, I'm gonna have to spend like $22 whenever I want to read Gone with the Wind, because this is the edition I wanted to read it in. But I'd never seen it anywhere at used bookstores, so I was like, I'm gonna have to buy a brand new copy at Barnes & Noble. This is horrible. But I didn't have to, because I found it for $1.25. Like, I'm so ecstatic. I can't believe it. I mean, it's just so pretty. So pretty. And I'm really excited to read this. Again, I don't know much about it. Just that it's big, and the bigger the book, the better. I like big books. I've heard the main character, some people find her really annoying, and so they don't enjoy the book, but I'll see for myself, okay? I feel like I've read a lot of books with annoying characters, so will I really mind? I don't know. I'm excited to read this, though. I do plan on reading these books soon. In fact, there's one book I bought that I've already finished, because I've never had this many books in my house that I haven't read before. Usually in my house, at a current time, I'll have maybe 2 or 3 books that I haven't read, and like that's it. But now I have all these books that I haven't read, and I don't like it. So I'm very determined to read these books. The next book is kind of has a similar story to this one. That is War and Peace by Tolstoy. So this has the same story in that I've never read anything by Tolstoy, but the only book by him that sounds interesting to me is War and Peace. Anna Karenina, I don't know, it just doesn't sound that interesting to me. Not saying I won't ever read it, but if I want to start with a Tolstoy, this is what I want to read. It's this edition, which is translated by V&P, by the way, my favorite Dostoevsky translators. So of course I have to read Tolstoy translated by V&P, but this is the edition that I have been determined that when I read War and Peace, I want to read this edition. But I've only ever seen it at Barnes & Noble. I've never seen it at a used bookstore anywhere. But this one, you won't believe it. You won't believe this one. I actually got this for free. I just can't believe, like, literally ever since I got both of these, I have just been over the moon, because I got both of these for a total of $1.25, and I just can't believe it. I don't know why it makes me so happy, but it does. Because these are the two books that I've always been like, when I read those, I want to read those specific editions and I'm going to have to buy them for like $20. Like every time I go into Barnes & Noble, I look at both of these and I make a point every time I go in there. I'm like, I see you. And I got both of them and I can't believe it. This one, the reason I got it for free, I didn't actually get it from a used bookstore. My brother actually, he had this and it was just, it was in a bag with a bunch of other junk and it was just lying in there all just heartbroken. And I was like, do you want that? Are you sure you want that? And he said no. He said that he started reading it, but he didn't like that none of the French is translated, and so he wants to read it in a different translation if he does read it someday. He's read Anna Karenina and he loves it, but he hasn't read War and Peace. Now, that is true, V&P don't really translate the French. Sometimes there'll be a footnote that tells you what the French is, but it's not that common, honestly. Now, I don't mind that. I have no problem. I actually kind of like it. I don't know why, but I kind of like it. So if this is full of untranslated French, I don't have a problem with that. Demons by Dostoevsky, that's translated by V&P, is full of French that's just not translated, and I don't really mind it. I don't think it really impacts the story at all not being able to read it, because it's just little phrases here and there or a couple words here and there. I don't think it's a big deal. So I very, very, very happily took this when he said that I could have it. I can't wait. No. I feel so lucky. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's move on. The next book that I found was, I was somewhere in, where was I? Is it Denton, Texas? There's a bookstore there. Yeah, okay, I'm remembering where I got this next book from. I was traveling in Denton, Texas, and there's a bookstore called, I think it's called Recycled Books. And it's this bookstore that is in an old abandoned opera house, and it was huge. I think they claimed to have over 500,000 books in there. It was great. If you're ever, I don't know, in the area, you should check it out. But the book that I found, I have been looking for this book for so long. You know, I'm realizing I don't even know how to pronounce it. Oh gosh. I should have looked that up before I started filming. It's too late now. Okay, here we go. It's The Good Soldier.
Then The Good Soldier Schweik and His Fortunes in the World War by Czech author and journalist Jaroslav Hašek.
I have been looking for this book for so long. And I've never been able to find it, but I've been wanting to read it for like over a year now. I just couldn't find it anywhere. I couldn't find it at any used bookstores. And so I've just kept looking. Every used bookstore I go to, you know, I keep an eye out for it, you know. And I was in this bookstore and I was just looking around and my eyes passed by it. And then I'm like, wait a second. What did I just see? Then it was this book. I lost my mind. I've been looking for this book for so long. And they had it. And they have it in an edition I've never, ever seen before. Like, I've never seen it online before. Oh my gosh, this edition is incredible. I've never seen this before. And something that I didn't know existed was there are not translations. There are illustrations in this book. It says the original illustrations by Joseph Lada. Can you see that? There you go. But I was flipping through this book and it is filled with illustrations that I didn't even know existed. I didn't know they had illustrations for this book, and they are just, I love the style of them. Basically, everything I know about this book is that it is a satirical anti-war novel about a Czech soldier named
Josef Švejk, a dealer in stolen dogs from Prague.
It takes place during World War I, and he gets put into the Austro-Hungarian Empire's army, and it's filled with him basically doing everything he can to avoid getting put into the front lines. So I think he's basically just trying to do everything he can to get pushed out of the army so he doesn't have to fight in this war. And I've heard that it is hilarious. Again, it's a satirical novel, and most satire is. I know that the author of this book, whose name is here, he was taken prisoner by the Russians during World War I. And so after he was released from these Russian prison camps, he started writing this book. And it was a serialized novel. And I don't think it was completed by the time he died. But I hope that this is the unabridged version, because I was really struggling with what edition to buy. If I couldn't find it anywhere and I ended up having to buy this online, what edition was I going to buy? Because there's not a lot of translations of this book, which I don't really know why. Because I think this novel, especially in Eastern Europe, is very famous. So I don't know, but there's not a lot of translations, and a lot of the editions are abridged. And I don't know if this is abridged or not. I really hope it's not, but I kind of feel like it is because it looks kind of tiny. And I was always under the impression that this was a bit larger of a book. I mean, how many pages is this? Okay, maybe this isn't abridged, because I don't know. When I was looking at this, I'm like, is this like 400 something, maybe 500 pages? But actually, it says that it is like 752 pages. So this doesn't look like a 750 page book. I guess the pages are really thin. I don't know. It doesn't look that big. But I guess that means this is the unabridged version. I haven't seen. Do you see that? Do you see that? Unabridged. It is the unabridged version. This is an amazing edition that I didn't even know existed. Unabridged, new English translation, and the original illustrations. I cannot wait to read this. I cannot wait. I can't believe I found this. I still am in awe and in shock that I managed to find this. Thank you, Recycled Books, for having this book. Oh, and I bought it for, if you want to know the price, I guess, I bought it for $9.50. The next book that I bought is one that I have already finished since buying it. I just ran into a random half-price books while I was driving one day, which I don't go into very often, but I just went into a random one, and I just wanted to see if they had any Murakami, and they did. And so I bought The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle by Murakami. This one I already read, because when I bought this, I was feeling the pressure of, oh my gosh, I have so many books that I've been buying, and I have all these books I haven't read, and I was like, I have to read one. I have to read it. And so I started reading it the day that I bought it, and I finished it within 3 days because this was amazing. I'm going to be talking about it more. Well, I already finished my wrap up for this book, but whenever my wrap up for April comes out, you'll see more of what this book's about and my thoughts on this book and everything. But this was a huge, huge surprise. I had no idea what it was about. This was absolutely fantastic. I love this book so much. I just have an emotional attachment to it now. I don't know. I really, really love this book. And I think I got it for... Does Half Price Books have stickers? Was there a sticker on this and I took it off? I feel like I paid $8.99 for this. Does Half Price Books use stickers? I think they do. Because I think I probably took the sticker off. That's why I'm like, where's the price? I think I probably paid $8.99 for this. This book, I guess, just to give you a quick synopsis of what it's about, it's about a man named Toru Okada who lives in Tokyo with his wife Kumiko, and one day their cat, Noboru Wataya, goes missing, and he has to look for this cat, and his adventures into looking for this cat lead him to meeting a bunch of interesting, unique people. This book is just filled with so many weird, quirky, interesting characters, and it's incredible. I'm so happy about this. It was a huge surprise. And I actually have another I'll fix Piglet, actually. Is that better? I don't know. I bought another Murakami book, and that was Kafka on the Shore by Murakami. In early April, before I ended up leaving for a few weeks, I bought this book on eBay, but I didn't get it in my hands until I came back at the end of April because I was gone. So it was just sitting in my mailbox the whole time. So this was the one I read first, which, by the way, these are matching editions, and I just think they look so pretty together. I really love these covers. I don't really like the new editions that they've come out with. I don't like them. I like these ones way better. But I had read a sample of this back in March, which is why I bought it. From what I read in the sample, I know that there is a teenage boy named Kafka, and in the very beginning of the book, he runs away from home. Yes. That's all I know. And I don't want to know anything else. One thing I learned from this, not knowing anything about a Murakami book is just so fun. Going into it knowing nothing. So I don't really want to know anything more about this. But I'm so excited to read this because this was so freaking good. I'm so excited. So, yes, I have Kafka on the Shore now. Now, I also have, so these two books I was in, was it Oklahoma City that I was at? I think so. I'll put the name of the bookstore on the screen, but I think it was somewhere like in Oklahoma City. I was so ecstatic when I went into this bookstore because, again, as I told you, this book haul is just like, I found everything that I had been wanting to read and I had been wishing I could find for the past year, honestly. And the book that I found was Evgeny Onegin by Alexander Pushkin. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. That's what I hear everyone say when they say it, is I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I've been so interested in reading Pushkin just because, I love Russian novels in general, and Pushkin is obviously the most famous Russian poet. Everyone I've heard who's read this in the English translation has said amazing things about it. I have been keeping my eye on it every time I go to a used bookstore for almost a year now, like I said, and I finally found it and I couldn't believe it. And it's in a Oxford World Classics edition, which are my favorite classics editions. And I got it for $4.95, which is a great price because this is a great edition. Next book that I found at this used bookstore. So I got two books from this archived books. Yes, archived books. But the next one that I bought was The 12 Caesars by Suetonius. I also got this for $4.95 in a Penguin Classics edition. Now, I had been really wanting to buy this book. I'd been keeping my eye out for it every time I went to a bookstore in case I saw it used, because I don't know. I don't think I ever read Suetonius. I don't think I ever did. And I've heard people describe the way that he writes, and it sounds really interesting to me. So I've just been really feeling a desire to want to pick this book up and read the way that he describes. I just found this in here. But read the way that he describes different Roman emperors. I don't know what this is. I guess I'll be using it as my bookmark. But yeah, I really don't think I've ever read Suetonius before, which is insane to me that I haven't, but I don't think I have. I think a lot of the stuff I would read was just Plutarch, and I don't think I ever read Suetonius, and I really want to. If you don't know what this book is about, it's written by Suetonius, who lived during the very, very early ADs, like within the first 100 AD. He wrote these chronicles of the lives of different Roman emperors. I think he goes through like Augustus. I think he even goes into Julius Caesar, who technically wasn't an emperor. But Julius Caesar, Augustus, Nero, Caligula, Tiberius. He just goes through a lot of the very original rulers of Rome and goes through both their public and private lives. So I'm excited. So these two books from archived books, I was so happy to find. It was great. So very, very, very happy about those two. So that is actually it for books that I found at used bookstores. The next 4 books, actually, are books that I took from my, I don't know, my parents have put all of my old books from when I was young in boxes, and I've told them they can just sell them all. I don't care to really have them anymore, but while I was there, I was just looking through a few of the boxes, and I brought home some of those books with me. I have 4 books that I picked to bring home with me. The first one is a tiny one, and that is The Mortal Immortal by Mary Shelley. I don't actually know what this is about at all, but I just want to read it. So that's all I have to say. I really have no clue what this is about, but it's a nice little, it's really small. So yeah, I'm excited to read this, even though I don't know what it's about. I'm still excited because it's Mary Shelley. So the next book that I have is kind of similar to what I was saying earlier with Suetonius and the 12 Caesars, but I have Plutarch's Roman Lives. So this is an Oxford World Classics edition that compiles the Roman lives that Plutarch has written. I picked this book up for 2 reasons. One, I mean, it was an Oxford World Classics edition, and it was sitting there, you know, and it's just so pretty. I mean, look at it. Look at this. I mean, I just love Oxford World Classics. I don't know. I think part of it might be because almost all their covers, they use paintings, and I'm a sucker for books with paintings as the cover. I'm a huge sucker. And a lot of their books have paintings as the cover. And I don't know. I really like it. I love the white. I just love them. And so I kind of maybe picked it up for that reason, but also because I just kind of want to reread some of this. I'm more excited to read Suetonius, but I got this just because, I don't know, I wanted to. And if I want to get rid of it again eventually, I can. That's fine. The next book that I got, I'm really excited about, and that's Paradise Lost by John Milton. Paradise Lost by John Milton is one of my favorite books of all time. Definitely one of my favorite epic poems of all time. I love this book so much. I've read it twice, but I have been just feeling such an urge lately to reread it for a 3rd time, but I didn't have my copy of it. I think I got rid of it. I don't know why, because the edition I had, it was an Oxford World Classics edition of Paradise Lost, my favorite, and it had years of my annotations and notes and everything. I mean, I destroyed that book, and I think I got rid of it. I mean, it's not here in my house, so I got rid of it. It's gone. And I can't believe myself. I mean, I get rid of like books all the time. I don't know. I'm always like, get out of here. But I can't believe I got rid of it. I cannot believe myself. I don't know why I did. I don't know. Because usually the books I keep are books that I just love. I absolutely adore them. And I really, really love Paradise Lost. And I've always loved it. So I'm not sure why I got rid of that. I thought maybe there was a chance that I might have sent it back to my parents' house and that I'd find it amongst the boxes and boxes of books. Now, I only looked through, I think, like 4 or 5 boxes of books, and I didn't find it. But there are tons of other boxes I could have looked through. I didn't have the time. So it might have been there. I feel like it has to be there. I feel like there's no way I would have sold it. Like, I had to have sent it back, right? I don't know. But this is the only copy I could find in the boxes that I looked in. So this is a Barnes & Noble's Classics edition, and that's fine. I mean, as long as I can read Paradise Lost again, I'm fine. I wanted that edition. But I found this, and I was really happy because I've been looking for Paradise Lost at used bookstores for months because I've been really, really wanting to reread it. And I haven't been able to find it anywhere, which I think is kind of weird because John Milton, it's not like he's that little of an author, right? If you don't know, John Milton was a very early English poet, and he wrote an epic poem called Paradise Lost. He has a lot of other epic poems too, and tons of poetry, but this is kind of his main one that he's known for, and it basically is him retelling the story of Adam and Eve and the fall of mankind, and it is amazing. It is amazing. is incredible. I remember in college, I would do everything I could in English classes to find ways to write essays about Paradise Lost. Like Satan in this book and Eve in this book, I love them. I don't care about Adam. Sorry. Adam, I don't really care about him. I'm so sorry. And of course, Milton's writing is incredible. His prose, it's amazing. Now, the very, very last book that I have to show you is one that I don't know if I'll actually read. And that is The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I've heard this said so many times. By Patrick Rothfuss. Is that what people say? Whatever. This is a coming of age story about a magician. This is an adult fantasy novel. I don't know. Because I'm kind of at a point where so many of the classics I read, all of the characters are men. And so whenever I read fantasy, I kind of just want female main characters. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, listen, I need my girls. There's just too many men. I need some women characters. And so I've kind of, in all the fantasy books I've been reading, I just want the main characters to be female. Just because, again, with so many classics, all the main characters are men. Which I don't care. Like, it's fine. But, you know, I'm a girl and, like, sometimes I just get kind of like, I just want to read another girl, you know? Because I connect with books with female characters way differently than I do. Because I'm not a guy, so I don't know. It's just kind of different. And so I'm kind of hesitant on this because I really want to read it, but also I'm like, I just want to read a girl. I don't know. Maybe I'll just pick up a fantasy book with a girl, get it out of my system, and then I'll read this. Or at least try to read it. I don't know. This one's kind of a maybe. But anyways, that's it for this book haul. I hope you liked it. I'm so excited about these books. I just feel so lucky of everything I found this past month. I can't believe it. I really, really can't. Every time I look at these, I'm still just in awe that I found these. I'm gonna have to get rid of some books though. Because I really don't like owning a lot of books. So I'm gonna have to get rid of some. I'll probably get rid of Dombey and Son by Charles Dickens. My books are over there in the other room. I'm not going to get them. You know what? I'll go get them. 1 second. I'll go get them. I won't be lazy. I'll show you the books that I think I'm going to get rid of to make room for these, okay? 1 second. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of Dombey and Son by Charles Dickens. And I'm going to get rid of Deathless by Catherine M. Valente. You'll see this book in my April wrap-up. And I did really enjoy it, but I'm not obsessed with it, so I can get rid of it. And that's the same with Dombey and Son. I did enjoy it, but I'm not obsessed, so they're gonna go. I'll probably get rid of some others. I don't know. So yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. Goodbye.